Absolutely.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the 2024 Zoom with the Cooleys. It's really great to see everyone here this evening. I'm going to start today by introducing to you the Cooley Family Association of America Board of Directors. I am Coral Joy Parks. I am the president, and I'm from California. I do prefer to be called Joy. I'm named after my great-grandmother, Joy Cooley. And I'd like to introduce to you our Vice President, Patty Cooley Wetzel. She's
Hello,
also
everyone.
from
I'm Patty,
California.
also from California.
She's our Zoom specialist.
Yeah.
And we have the second Vice President who's in charge of outreach, and that is Nancy Tinsley. She's from Missouri. And Kirsten, I will wait a minute. We have
no, Kirsten's coming in. You can hold your breath, and
okay.
she'll be right here.
Oh, there it is. Okay, we're going to wait 1 second for our genealogist.
Okay, she's in.
Hi, Kirsten. You're just in time. I'm introducing you. This is
perfect.
Kirsten,
Here I am.
Kirsten Workman, our genealogist, and of course, she's from Utah.
Yes.
Also from Utah is our treasurer, Jay Smith. Say hi, Jay. And we have David Cooley. He's our historian, and he is from Connecticut.
That's right. Welcome, everybody.
And last but not least, we have our newsletter editor, Rick Smith from California. Did you make it in yet, Rick? I don't see him. I'm hoping he comes by the end because he has something to present for us.
And I wanted to say that I see one of our board members who's called a member at large, Bob
Okay.
Skanke.
Bob Skanke. Hi, Bob.
There
He's
he
our
is.
member at large. Is there anybody else I missed, Patty?
I don't see Chris. I wish he was on the call, but he's not.
Okay. So there's your board of directors, Cooley family. And just so you know, we are always here for you for anything. Our genealogist, can answer any questions about the records that we have of our genealogy. And we're open for anything that you'd like to talk to us about. So feel free to contact us. Okay, we're going to start today with our historian, David Cooley, and he's going to talk to us about the history of the Cooley Family Association. Take it away, David.
All right. Thank you, Joy. And it's great to see some new faces. Welcome, everybody. I have been involved with the Cooley Family Association probably indirectly for most of my life. My mother was somewhat active in trying to do a lot of research and make some connections. And so in her kind of memory, if you will, I've been continuing to support the organization. And as a bit of a history junkie myself, it kind of made sense. So I joined in 2006, was vice president in a shared role for a little bit, and then president from 2008 to, well, 2 terms, whatever. I think that's 4 years. And since then have been the historian. So I've been trying to gather collections of Cooley archives from around the country and beyond if they exist, and cull them, put them together in a library that we're building, not a building that we're building, but a library that we're putting together at the Noble and Cooley Center for Historic Preservation in Granville, Mass., just outside of Longmeadow, which is where Benjamin Cooley settled in the 1630s. So the organization really started in 1936, driven by Dean Mortimer Cooley, who was the Dean of Engineering at the University of Michigan. And he and his colleague Vivian and a few other folks wanted to try to pull together all the Cooleys in the United States and see how they mapped out and connected. And they created the Cooley genealogy, which was published right around that time. And that's this big book here called the Cooley genealogy, and is kind of what ties us all together in some fashion. There's a lot of, as you might imagine, assumptions that are made in doing genealogical research.
Uh-oh. Sorry, David. Hold on.
Patty had had enough.
Do that myself. I guess something happened, huh?
Yeah, when Patty mutes us, we can unmute ourselves.
Oh, so how much did you not hear?
Two
Right.
words.
2 words,
Yes.
okay, so we're okay. So anyway, the Cooley genealogy happened. The organization came together and met in Springfield for the first time, and every 2 years we do a nice little reunion, sometimes little, sometimes not so little, depends on a lot of factors, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all, you know, when it's World War II or COVID or whatever. So it's been a long history. It's not a money-making operation. You know, some people get skeptical that we're, you know, there's a lot of fly-by-night things where you get in the mail, you know, we've done all the research, send us some money, that kind of thing. That's not at all what we're about. We're just interested in connecting Cooleys and trying to map our history a little bit. And so we all try to help each other with that, have some fun. And at these reunions, every couple of years, we get together and share stories and notes and a glass of wine. We do have a Cooley surname DNA project that's run by two gentlemen, Michael Cooley and Doug Parker, and I'm the liaison for that here, and that's really proven that not everybody named Cooley in the United States goes back to Benjamin Cooley. There's now, I think, been 11 or 13 or so distinct lines that have been identified, and there's probably more. So that's been fascinating. And you know, that along with the archives that we're pulling together and trying to digitize over time. And we do have quite a bit already digitized. They used to gather articles for scrapbooks and you know, little historical tidbits, and you know, we've got a lot of that, and also our communique, which comes out quarterly, is they're all digitized as well and on the website for members. So you know, good reasons to join, and it's $100 for a lifetime membership, and you know, if you can swing it, you'll you know, maybe learn some things that are interesting. There's always, it seems, one person in every family who's in charge of the genealogy, and the others either don't care at all or, you know, tap you when they have questions. But I happen to be that guy in my family, but you know, maybe all you are in that kind of spot as well. So we're happy to help out. So that's enough from me. We've got a nice agenda today, and I'll turn it back to Joy, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you very much, David.
My pleasure.
Now I'm going to turn it over to our second vice president in charge of outreach, Nancy Tinsley. Nancy, you'll have to unmute yourself before you talk. Go ahead, Nancy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good
Yes, I can hear
job.
you.
Am I too loud?
No, you're good. You're perfect.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to the meeting. I certainly hope you go away with more information than when you first came. That's what it's all about, is learning. We didn't always have a second vice president. So I kind of want to tell you how that got started. It was about 10 years ago almost. And one of our members, Angie Fisher, who lives, let's see, I think Angie's over in Kansas. I'm in Missouri, so she's just on the other side of the state. And Angie was very interested in setting up an outreach program. I think she and her husband are currently taking full-time care of her mom. And so she has not really been as involved as she was before. So I'm kind of the point person at this point. So her idea, which was written up at the, let's see, it was one of our family reunions, and I think it was the one when we were in Springfield. The idea was to try to locate members in different states that could act as an ambassador. So that if Cooley families in different states all around the country were having, for example, a smaller scale family reunion, instead of like ours is a national, but it was a smaller scale just by state, that there could be an ambassador available to them that could present information if they wished someone to attend their reunion about the national Cooleys, and that would be us. And we love the idea of having ambassadors that would be representative and possibly available to present this information, because it really wasn't getting out in a way that we were kind of hoping. And we thought, okay, we're going 50 states, we're going to try to do this. So we love the idea, and we kept the position. And so I guess we'll probably still keep it for a while. I don't know if we've changed our bylaws or not to include that yet, but that's something, I guess, David, I'm not sure if we've done that yet, but it's something I guess we'll have to talk about. But that's the whole idea in outreach, is to be able to have people, members available in different states around the country to present any information they might need about the Cooleys. So anybody that's interested in being an ambassador for your state, just let me know. The other thing that we do is sponsor a youth genealogy grant. At this time, it's available to members and their children and grandchildren, so that if children want to write up, let's say, for example, do a genealogy project, which a lot of schools and scouts and youth groups and church groups tend to sponsor, that we would provide up to $50 toward whatever materials they may need in order to facilitate writing that grant. And they can then send us a summary, and we could publish it in the communique. So the kids get some notice about some of the research that they've done, or interviews maybe that they did with their grandparents. It's really unlimited. It's in terms of what the project might be, it just depends on what is requested from the organization, or maybe just a family thing that they want to get started doing. So we've also tried to include social media. Now, I don't know anything, I have to tell you, about social media. I'm not a social media person. I don't have a Facebook account, or I think it's Facebook. I don't know if I even have that right. So I really used Rick to help get the first item up on YouTube, because I don't really know much about that either, because that's another media kind of thing. And so he was able to do that, and we got up the first one maybe a couple months ago. And so what the idea behind it was, the first video was to just inform people about what the Cooley family is all about, who we are, and anyone then that's interested would be able to contact us either through our website or the YouTube or Facebook. Do I have all the social medias? I'm not sure if I have them all. I think I do. And so that way we could start spreading the word that we're here, we're available to support you in your research, because it is a lot. That's how a lot of people just become very interested in, is the research part of it, finding out who they are, where they come from. And of course, children, as a rule, love to hear stories. And one of the projects that I will be writing about coming up is any member that would like to contribute a story, a family story, like about 3 minutes or 4 minutes, something that could go on the YouTube channel. We would appreciate you getting in touch with us so that we could sort of help you through that, so that it could be on the channel. I think we've all got some unbelievable, interesting stories to tell that we've learned about through our research or through documents that have been handed down through the family. And sometimes just through our, our own research and oral traditions that come, like my mother, rest in peace. She passed away in 2020. And that's how I got into the Cooley family. My mom was a Cooley, and so were my great aunts. So it kind of goes way back. And so you do learn lots of wonderful stories. And it's one thing to tell your kids and your grandkids, oh, your Uncle Joe, but it's another to say, Uncle Joe was in the Revolutionary War. And da 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 da. If you build the context around the person, and then the kids really become interested in who their ancestors are. I kind of feel sometimes as I'm doing the research and as a former educator in my working life, I notice that kids are interested in genealogy, but they become seriously interested as they get older. And so there is a developmental aspect to this, that once you can introduce them to who their family is when they're younger and the context of some of the characters of their family, they really become interested in history, for example, in school, in learning more about all kinds of things because of their family history. So that's what the outreach is all about. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Nancy,
Okay.
leave. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We do have a question and answer at the end, but if
Okay,
you
great.
do have a specific question for Nancy right now, I noticed somebody raised their hand.
Yes,
You just feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask Nancy. But if it's a different topic, we do have question and answer at the end. So go ahead with the question.
understood. Yes, just real quickly, the link on the Facebook page is broken. It goes to CooleyFamilyAssociation.com/index, which is broken. So we just need to lop off everything after the backslash. I guess it'd be a /.
Okay. Yeah, we will have Rick take care of that. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Was there anything else, Nancy?
Oh, Lee. I just see. Okay, so since I'm not a techie, there is a note that just came up from Lee Cooley.
Okay.
And Lee just said he would volunteer to be an ambassador. So
Very good.
I'll jot that note down.
Is that the famous Lee Cooley from Arizona? Looks like him.
I thought it was infamous, but okay, we'll go with
All
that.
right. Welcome. It's been a long time. How are you?
Good, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so Lee, how do I know how to get in touch with you?
We can get him.
Yeah,
Okay.
my email's on that chat
we'll
as
get
well.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Lee.
Wow, that's exciting. We've already got an ambassador. For which state, Lee?
Arizona.
Arizona. Excellent. Thank you.
Lee was our newsletter editor years ago, and it's great to see him again.
Thank you.
Oh, very good.
Super. Okay, well, that's what I have from the outreach.
Great. Thank you very much, Nancy. Nancy touched a bit on the social media aspect of our outreach, and Rick was going to speak some more on it. He's not here. Kirsten, do you have anything that you would like to tell us about our social media outreach that we're doing now, our YouTube channel? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, no, I'll unmute myself. And Nancy touched on it. I think that we're trying to collect more stories that are quick, like 3-minute stories about your ancestor, your Cooley specific ancestor. I know you have many other ancestors. But I think that we would love to gather more material for our YouTube and for our Facebook and other social medias so we can be able to share those stories a little more frequently, so younger generations can look at those and be able to see those and be able to enjoy them. I know that Rick had all the numbers and all the stats, so I don't know most of those, but I know that that's what we're trying to promote, is that we're trying to get more, even if it's a brief story about, oh, hey, I have this Cooley ancestor in the Civil War, or this Cooley ancestor, like it would be a great contribution. So we would really appreciate that if you had the inspiration to do so. You can email either the genealogist Cooley email, or you can send it to Rick's email, which I think we may have around. I'm not sure, but you could just send it to me.
I believe he's the newsletter editor. I believe that's
Editor.
his email.
Yeah.
And so
Newsletter
you
editor
can
at
either
Cooley.
send it to him or me, and we can start gathering and promoting things. And even if you're too afraid to maybe do a video of it, if you just had like the write up for it, I can write things. I could say things, maybe not well, but I can say things enough that we can make a cool video out of it.
We could do
So-
a Ken Burns takeoff.
Yeah.
I need to make a comment about Rick not being here. I received an email about an hour before this meeting, and he'd just gotten word that his wife was in a car accident.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
And so he wasn't able to be on the meeting. He didn't think it was life-threatening, but we might give thought to Rick and all of his anxiety.
Oh
right
my
now.
goodness.
Well, thank you for letting us know, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes, we'll all say a little prayer for his wife. That family's had a few tragedies recently. So
Yeah.
So I'm going to pipe in here, Joy, and thank you,
Thank you,
Jay, for
Patty.
giving that update, because I was a little concerned about Rick. So now we can all have a good thought and a prayer for him and his family. So at our last meeting, he was just very, very excited. He gave us kind of an update about the interest now, as we're putting more things on social media, putting a little bit more posts on Facebook, putting up the YouTube channel and other forms of outreach. He says that our followers are consistent. The breakdown is about 66% women, 34% men. The year-to-year growth that we're having is up 64%, which is really showing that there's some interest now, so that people are kind of seeking us out, plant a few seeds, and I guess we're getting a little bit of harvest. And then he said that people are actually looking and they're clicking on things. And that's why we think that it might be interesting for them to be able to go and click and hear a story. And we'll figure out the template for that and the style of vignette or whatever we can help folks do so that it's easy, painless, 1, 2, 3. But they're finding that there's value in that, and that is up 281%.
wow.
Which is really something else. Well, he said that general visits to our Facebook page were up 40%, and reaches, and I don't know if that's on YouTube or something else, is up 24%. So that's just what I wanted to say to kind of follow up with what Kirsten was saying, is that it does look like we're hitting a little momentum on that social.
Thank you very much, Patty. That's great information, and it's just wonderful to see that that the people out there are interested, and they're looking for us, and they're looking at us. And yeah, if we could get some more stories up there. If you haven't had a chance to go to our Cooley, not the Facebook, I know everybody goes
The
to.
YouTube channel.
YouTube, thank you so much. Lost a word there. Then please do so. We have some really interesting, nice little videos up there for you, and maybe it'll give you an idea of something that you can post yourself, that you can submit yourself, and we can post for you.
The other thing I think that we talked about at our board meeting was that there are 2 videos that the membership made at these last couple of reunions. So there's 2 there that give you an idea if you have not been to a Cooley family reunion, how amazing and fun and just full of information, activities, getting to know each other, and maybe what line of the Cooley family, you come from, or maybe you come from a Cooley that arrived in 1700s, and you can get some answers to questions. But there's 2 videos, I believe, also on the YouTube channel that will give you a little feel for what reunions are like. It's something else to look for.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Kirsten, Patty, and Nancy, for all of your information on the outreach. And David, thank you. He just fixed that link. See, we try to respond very quickly.
I wonder if I could just say something.
Please do, Jay.
Sometimes we think it's only when they get older that you get started in family history and genealogy. But I started as a teenager, and I joined the Cooley family because my great aunt had learned about the Big Brook and had gone to a reunion back in 1948. And then I had to work with her a little bit on adding our family to that. So I joined the Cooley family in 1966. That's 58 years ago. And I've had the privilege of attending 18 national reunions. And I've enjoyed every one of them. In the newsletter that's coming up, you'll see a couple of memories from some of those reunions. But I just want to encourage each of us to not forget our younger members in the family.
Yeah.
I'm excited, and that's why I like that scholarship grant program. Something to get them interested in these stories. So I just wanted to add that to what was said.
Good, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Very
He's
good.
been an officer since 1972, maybe. I don't know. He's been a
Wow.
backbone of this organization. Thanks, Jay.
Okay. So next we're going to talk about the reunion. I know you're all excited to hear about that. This year, where'd my notes go? Sorry, I write notes so I won't forget. Okay, so every 2 years we assemble for our family reunion. And this year, our family reunion is going to be held from Thursday, July 25th through Saturday, July 27th. It's going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We chose that for a reason. Now, the hotel that we're staying at is going to be the Hilton, and they've given us a special rate of $149 per night. So when you make your reservations, you have to make sure that you're with the Cooley family reunion in order to get that special price. So I'll just give you a little bit of insight on what we do at our family reunions. On Thursday evening, we begin with a welcome reception. Here's a wonderful place to catch up with the family that you haven't seen for a while and to meet new family members. And there's always somebody new. We have our regulars, but we do get, depending on, because we do it in a different state each reunion, so that we can get new members in case, for those who can't travel. Now on Friday is our big day. Friday morning, we'll visit the Genealogy Center at the Allen County Public Library, and that's always exciting. Nancy has set that up for us. We'll get a little tour, and we'll also get some time alone to do our own research, which I know all of us genealogists are looking forward to that. So then we've arranged for a really nice river cruise where we'll be served a box lunch. And that's going to be about 90 minutes. It's a nice, peaceful time. You can chat with the family, get to know each other a little better, away from all the pressures of the genealogy research. Now, in the evening is when we have our banquet and award ceremony. And we're going to have a nice buffet dinner at this banquet. And then after the dinner and the award ceremony, we've arranged for an accredited genealogist for our keynote speaker. Her name is Peggy Clements Luritzen, and she's going to be speaking to us about migration. On Saturday morning of the reunions, we always hold our business meeting, and that's a time when we really encourage the membership to come. We talk about the business of the Cooley family. We talk about the what we've done in the past and what we've got upcoming, and we also do elect new officers. We are always looking for people to participate in the association and specifically on the board. If you have any inclination at all to volunteer your time with the board, please come to the business meeting, learn what the association, what we really do. We're all about the genealogy, but as time goes on, we're expanding. Our association was created by the descendants of Benjamin Cooley, but now we encourage anybody with Cooley ancestors to join. And as you have learned through our DNA project, and David referenced earlier, there are more lines of Cooleys that came to America that aren't really related than we ever thought there were. And as time goes on, with our research, with new members joining and giving us their information and our DNA project, we're finding exactly the scope of the Cooley settlement here in America. So that's how we run our reunions every year. And what we're going to do is we're going to put, excuse me, the registration form for this year's reunion in our upcoming newsletter. We do all of our newsletters, which we call the Cooley Communique. We do them all through email. Now we no longer mail out a hard copy. So we still do 2 or 3 a year, depending on how much we have to say. And if for some reason you have not been receiving the Cooley Communique and you are a member, please contact a board member and we'll set that to rights, because maybe we just don't have your correct email. So we definitely want to know about it, because if you aren't getting the Cooley Communique, then you really don't know what we're doing in the association. Our next communique will be presented, will be distributed about February 15th. And if there ever comes a point in time when there's something that, maybe you're not interested in doing a YouTube video, but maybe you have a story that you want to tell, please feel free, write something up and submit it to the board, and we'll see that we'll find a space for it in our communique, because we really want to know about Cooleys. Any Cooley, every Cooley, they're all important to us. We're all family, no matter what Cooley that we come from. So that's the information about the reunion. And I just want to say, once again, thank you to everybody for coming. And now I'm going to open it up for questions. You can ask anybody any question. Feel free to type it in the chat if you don't want to talk. But do we have any questions?
I think that Jay wanted to just mention the big deal about our 90th anniversary. Not to get anybody confused, but to let everyone know that in a way we've got 2 wonderful things coming up, and to just put it on your radar. Jay, did you want to say anything at all about the Long Meadow?
Let me just comment on the birthplace, really, of Benjamin Cooley was in Long Meadow, or now Springfield as it's called, Connecticut. And so every 10 years, we go back to that spot and look at the areas where Benjamin first settled. And we also have an opportunity now to go out about 20 miles to the Noble and Cooley Drum Factory, the former factory, where all of our written records now are stored and are getting digitally prepared. So you should always make sure, you Cooley members, that you get to at least one of those. And since it's only 10 years, make sure you go to the next one. You never know what can happen. next period. But our next one then will be in 2026. We don't know the exact date, but it's usually at the end of July. And you can come out there and enjoy. I'm sure we'll get to tour the factory again and see some of the things that David has brought from many sources and brought to one place. So I just wanted to not get confused. Come to Fort Wayne first. But right now, 3 years down the road, 2026 will be here before you know it. I'm hoping to go there. That'll be my 94th birthday. And if I can, I want to go. So we'll see what happens. Okay.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Patty, for reminding us of the 2026
Yeah, it's pretty
Cooley family
wonderful.
reunion in Longmeadow. I have not yet been to one in Longmeadow. I'm very looking forward to it. It's always exciting. We do get our biggest turnout there, don't we usually, Patty?
We had a pretty big turnout at that one. The biggest I've seen, and I've only gone to 5, I guess, reunions, is the one in Utah. We had like 65, I think, for the dinner, and many were local and perhaps some family, but that dinner had hitting the walls. It was great.
Yeah, that was my first experience as at the family reunion, the one in Utah. It was great. Thank you, Lee, for this Cooley trivia you're posting in the chat. Interesting.
It shows the migration from Massachusetts to Ohio from my end of the branch.
Interesting. Yeah, we had so many people go from Massachusetts. A lot of them went through New York into the Midwest. That's why we decided that for this reunion, we're going to have our keynote speaker speak about the migration patterns and possibly specifically Cooley migration patterns. We're hoping for that. Any other questions or comments? No, we're all off
Joy.
quiet. Yes, Nancy.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm not a techie. Okay, we know this. It says down at the bottom bar, it says chat, and then it has a little bubble, and then it's got like 10
Yeah.
chats.
So
How do
you'll be
you click
fine.
on that?
Push
or-
the little chat.
Yes. Yeah, you click on that and then a box will open up to the side and it'll show you the chat. So you'll scroll up and down. That means that 10 people have posted a comment.
Oh, look at this. Okay, you guys, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me say something about what Lee talked about Asheville Cooley. When we went to Athens, Ohio in 2004, they had a parade in a town about 15 miles away in Coolville. It used to be called Cooleyville, but I think it's now just Coolville. But we watched in that parade. We had a float, and we all felt very fine to talk about the Cooley name in a parade. So that was a good time to be there.
Well, that's great. It's a shame they changed the name.
I like Coolville, that's fine.
It's kind of a cool name, but
That's, I think we all got a bunch of nicknames that we've been called over the years that are related to that somehow.
Yeah, it's a great photo. We've used it in a few things, slideshows and otherwise, and it says Coolville in this kind of a burlap sack with like 2-foot high letters on it, and people, I think that they're dressed in costume of that time period, and it's very exciting. We all love parades, don't we? Like,
oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Everybody should be in one at least once in their lifetime.
There's a Colville in Washington too. I don't know if it's related to the one in Ohio.
Check it
That's
out.
a beautiful picture, Lee. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was there and I have a few from there.
Well, thank you very much, Barbara. And it's too bad you can't be involved, but we'd like to see you at the reunion if you can come.
Especially since I looked at your website, Barbara, and I'm very impressed. So we need your talent. I can't hear you, but I know you're saying good stuff.
I
Oh,
wanted to make a comment or two. I'm Kay Beecham, and Joy is my daughter.
She's the one who
And,
named me after my great grandma Joy Cooley.
Great grandma, yeah. And I a few years back I was the editor, and I enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed very much going to the Springfield and I kept telling her about it because I think you had a health problem or something and you couldn't make it. That's why you didn't go. And I told you how much fun it was and what you missed and everything. But I want to Joy and I have done quite a bit of research, and I think we could probably put some information into a YouTube video if we put our heads to it. Not that we're not busy with anything else, but I think we could. So, and I have
Be great.
I want to caution everybody, don't do what I did when in Albany. I went there and I got to spend about a day and a half before I came down with COVID. And I spent the rest of the time in the hotel room sneezing and coughing. So don't do that, because you don't have any fun at the reunion when you do that.
Yeah, we
That's
missed
all I
that
have.
great keynote speaker.
We passed a resolution that's no longer allowed. Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody allowed to
absolutely.
get sick.
Good job. Anybody else? We still have a few minutes left for our
Yeah,
Zoom meeting.
can I make a couple of comments?
Please do, Mark. How are you today?
Yeah, hi, good. So I've been a member of the association. I've been a lifetime member for I think about 25 years. And it seems that my contact with you guys is very intermittent. I'll hear from you guys for a while. I used to get the communique for a while. I used to come by mail, and then I used to get it by email, and then it stopped coming. So I kind of want to get back in the swing of things. I'm really interested in going to the reunion. I
Yay.
live in Ohio, so I'm only 3 hours away from Fort Wayne.
Nice.
So that's very convenient for me. I actually grew up in the Springfield, Mass area. I was born in Springfield. I have two Cooley lines. I have two great grandmothers who were Cooleys. They were actually sixth cousins, and of course they were descended from Benjamin. So there's a lot of Cooley there. But I just wanted to let you folks know that I am I'm the president and historian of my family association. I run a Davis Family Association, and I've been doing this for 25 years. I run a reunion every year. The reunion we have coming up is going to be our 126th reunion.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. And I'm actively involved in researching. We go back to my sixth great grandfather, who was one of the original settlers of Stafford, Connecticut, which is only a few miles away from Springfield, Long Meadow. And we actually have a lot of Cooleys in the family tree. I've been actively researching the family tree for about 25 years, and we look at anybody. You don't have to be a Davis or a Cooley. We look at everybody who's descended from Cornelius Davis, and I just hit 28,000 today in my database. So
Wow.
there's some things I've been doing. I'd like to learn from you folks to see what you're doing. That's why I'd be very interested in going to the reunion and meeting you folks and seeing what you're doing. But you might be interested in some of the things I'm doing too. For about 10 years, I've had a Facebook group. It's a private group. But what I do is I post stories like what you're talking about doing. I have a lot of anecdotes, things that I found people in our family tree. So it's a great place. I don't have, it's a small group. We only have about 250, 300 people that are part of the group. But I think it's a really neat thing to do. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing, or you want to do the same thing, to post anecdotes and stories on the Cooley family. And I'd love to help out doing that. I'd love to show you what I've been doing, and, like to get more involved.
Great.
super.
That's
You bet.
absolutely great, Mark.
I'll look forward to seeing you guys at the reunion.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Fantastic.
that's wonderful.
Right,
I
and
believe I commented on your comment on the Cooley family page when you said you weren't receiving the communiques anymore. So we just want, if you'll please send me a message with your email, I
Okay.
will make sure that you are, that your email is updated, because that's possibly what happened.
That's probably the reason. I have two emails,
Yeah.
but you may not have the right one. You may have an old one that no longer works.
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't send out a paper copy of the communique anymore,
Right.
just the digital. So yeah, please do that, because we'd love to have you become more involved. And you don't have to be a board member to come to the business meeting to, have some input into the way that the association is working.
Yeah. Well,
We
we have a
encourage
business
all
meeting in
members.
our association every year too. And it's kind of we do the business, but then we have a kind of a question and answer period, and people just speak up, and we talk about the different things we're doing, and people talk about what they're interested in and what they like to do and what we'd like to do with everybody else.
Fantastic. Well, make sure that you get that to me so you can get our February 15th newsletter,
Okay.
because that's
I
where the
will.
registration for the reunion will be. And I'm looking forward to meeting you. I really want you to come.
What is
And
the cost for the reunion?
So we are gonna also post that sorry about my cat.
That's okay.
We
He's
are
cute.
gonna post that registration form on our website as well. So that people that go to the website, they may not even be on our email list, or they're whatever, and they could register for the reunion. So the association tries to minimize the cost to guests that are going to join us. So we get the discount on the hotel room, and then we have the activity, which includes the transportation, the lunch, and the activity itself. So it's that sweet,
Sweet breeze.
sorry, I was going to
That's
say
okay.
sweet Jesus, but that's the ice cream. Cruise
Sweet
and
breeze
lunch.
river cruise.
And then you've got the dinner and the banquet. So the activities, I believe, are what we had last year. We kept the prices the same. So the
Yes.
activity in the morning and the transportation and the lunch and the fun is $55. And then the keynote, the dinner, the banquet, the appetizers is $55. So 110 for everything.
That's
And then
reasonable, very reasonable.
yeah, and then we give you a packet that has, the itinerary, some maps, maybe some info on the meeting and other information. And then we also print up Cooley family t-shirts. So you get one of those. And there's on the registration form, there's a little thing so that you could say, banquet only, or you would say both, and that it'll cut it down. So you could do either or both. And then we ask for your t-shirt sizes. So you should have, something that'll fit you when you get there. We used to wing it, but
Now we try to be more accurate.
yeah, which is fun.
Yeah.
So. And we don't know what flights are, but a lot of people we found, like in the New York area and Long Meadow, and I guess some other places, people will drive, 2 hours or so. And so we don't comp on the flights if you're flying. So
No. But I did hear that the flight prices will be going down in the very near future. So
yay.
start watching the prices to book your flight for July. And yes, we almost always have our reunion on the last weekend of July. So if you're thinking of putting in your calendar for our 2026 reunion, go ahead and block out that last weekend of July, because that's most likely when it'll be. But we will tell you as soon as we know. We do like to get this information out to everyone as soon as possible. So definitely our 2026 January Zoom with the Cooleys will have all of the detailed information like we do this time for our Fort Wayne reunion.
We're excited. This is kind of part 2 of our Albany, New York reunion. there was so much interest in our keynote speaker. She did a migration, emigration, immigration. Why did they come to Albany and why did they leave? And then we got so excited when she said the reasons that they left. Then she said kind of where they went. And we're like, oh my goodness. So now we're going to hear the other end of the coin in Indiana.
That's one of the things that I found to be most interesting as I study the migration patterns in my own family, the Davis family, and I watch how they migrated out of the Springfield area typically it was into New York. And then as New York opened up the kind of the wilderness in the early 1800s, people moved there. But then they kind of moved into Ohio. And then a lot of them jumped over into Indiana and Illinois. And then about the middle of the 19th century, they started going to the West Coast. And I think a lot of that was driven by the gold rush. So I just find the migration patterns to be fascinating.
Definitely. And David and I are, I think, seventh cousins. And so we did a lot of research together at the reunion in Salt Lake City. And we were advised on different ways to try to find where your family was at a period of time. And so we started looking at maps and finding, the ownership of the maps. But what we were finding were the members of the family. And the one that we were looking for was missing. So the grandfather and the grandson would be listed in the household, and we just couldn't figure out what happened to our ancestor that we were looking for, type of thing. So, stories lead to other stories, and, we've found a lot. So.
Yeah, mine's
Yes, you never
crazy.
know
I
what
went from,
piece of
Long Meadow, of
information will
course,
lead you.
to New York. And then the brothers one went to Duluth, Minnesota and started a lumber mill there and fishing. And then my great grandfather went to Kansas, was a farmer and a teacher there. And then, for multiple generations. And my grandfather went from Kansas to Chicago to Brazil to Winnipeg, Canada, to California, to Philadelphia, and met my mother and got married. My father took a job here in Connecticut, so now I'm like 30 minutes from Longmeadow after this journey from, multinational. It's been a wild thing to follow, but it's a lot of fun. But I didn't have a lot of family photos because of the movement. I didn't have a lot of archives. We kind of had some things, but through the organization and meeting another cousin in Kansas, I was able to get some great photos of my ancestors that I never knew existed. So those are the kinds of things that are nice to see, and then you can put the stories to it.
That's amazing to me, Bob Skanke. Just say a few words. How great love you guys have for your people who came before, and the things you could learn by hearing their stories of what you potentially have capability of doing. I have a little trouble talking. I got involved with the Cooleys in sort of a strange way. About 10 years or 15 years ago, my mom said to me and my brother, that even though your name was Skankies, you're really Cooleys because I'm a Cooley. And there's a group of people, organization of Cooley's, and I want you to attend it. There's a program coming up, and you'll really love it. And when we said, "Hey, Mom, when is it?" Well, she gave the date, and I said, "Oh, Mom, my brother and I are going to be climbing the Tetons, the Great Mountains. It's going to be such a wonderful thing right at that date. We can't do that." Mom said, "Oh, yes, you can. You better shape up, and I want to see you there." Well, we didn't show up there. We showed up climbing the Tetons and had a remarkable time. So afterwards, she said to us, afterwards, she said, you bums, why didn't you do what your mom wanted you to do? So anyway, this goes on for a few years. And you know what? She kept bugging me from the other side. She kept bugging me. Finally, I said, I had to repent, and I got involved with you people and have really enjoyed your love of the Cooleys and have learned a lot, and have not been a very good researcher, but I'm a good listener. So there, one way or other, there's a different ways of getting involved with your ancestors, and I appreciate the people who have strived and done a wonderful job keeping this organization going. I'm amazed, how well with a relatively small staff that you've done so much. Good for you.
Thanks for all your help, Bob. Dr. Bob Skanke helped us through COVID, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, so I think that's about it for the night. We sincerely appreciate everybody who attended, and we do look forward to seeing as many of you that can come to the reunion as possible. And make sure you watch out for your February 15th Cooley communique. And if you are a member and you are not receiving your communique, please get in touch with a board member and let us know, and we will make sure that we have your updated email so that you can receive the communique. Patty,
Thanks.
thank you very much for
Good job, Joy. Thanks,
the
everybody.
Thanks,
Zoom.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
It's been
Nice
wonderful.
Nice meeting everybody.
Thanks,
And we'll
everybody.
see you soon. All right.
night,
Take care. Have a
everybody.
good night.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.